Huh. So Onett is ending Bismarck without doing BBM? Well, that's unexpected. Let's see what people are saying about this. Look, I know I'm going to get flamed for even thinking about making this video, okay? But you've read the title. I know I'm not anyone known in the community and I don't expect to be known for Bismarck, but I want to state that I've played this game for 6 years, so I know it pretty well. The community has lately been outraged by Onett's announcement that he's ending Bismarck early, and well, that's understandable. This Bismarck kinda didn't add that much. It only added 3 things. It came really early with a lot of delays, but I guess Onett don't really have to add any content when the community is already turning Dandelion Field into Toxic Wasteland Field and Mountaintop into Controversial Field Chicken Cooking Grounds. But before we even start, I think it's important to rewind a bit, and yeah, I know, you probably already know Bismarck's story pretty well, but trust me, it's kinda important for this one. Bismarck 2021. Back when Planters got added, it took a while for Bismarck to release, and it got split in 2 parts. Well, not much reason to talk about it for now. Then we got Bismarck 2022. It brought RoboBear, Peppermint Cup. Well, it was a bit annoying with all the RoboQuests, but I guess it kinda makes sense to add them. It also got split in 2. Bismarck 2023, or well, technically Bismarck 2024. Yeah, the one that happened in summer, that one did not have a split, and I do think it's important for later. So much got added in 2024. First of all, we got stickers, retro swarm, golfing, and after all of that, a second Bismarck for winter 2025. And with that, we're back in the present, 2026. So, what did this update bring us? Well, let's recap. Blooms. Yeah, okay. Those are kinda shit, but yeah, they are just better jelly beans. Ticket butcher. Sure, has some value in trading, but that's about it. Offline butcher. Stop, we'll get to that later. So, what went wrong? First of all, I want to state something. Despite me loving Bisfarm, despite me having sunk an unholy amount of hours into it with barely any macro, I do think often Onett overpromises and procrastinates a lot. With that said, let's put ourselves in the shoes of this 36 years old developer. And for that, let's once again look back into the Bisfarm biggest update. Let's start with something small, something that got separated from its Bismarck. Stickers. Stickers are truly a mechanic of all time. They've become a big part of the game, they've brought trading, something the community had been asking for a while, and sure, Onett was already known for being lazy, and the update was heavily criticized for not coming along with Bismarck. Now, mind you, there is currently 289 stickers on the index, some more behind of the scenes. All of those were drawn by Onett himself. Sure, they're not the Mona Lisa, but they don't look bad. Some are genuinely impressive for someone I personally didn't even know could draw. Let's just stop for a minute and do the math on it. 289 stickers. Let's go on the optimistic side of things and suppose for some reason he only took 10 seconds for each of them and he did not have to remake any of them at all. What's that? 289,000 seconds. Divided by 60, we're looking at about an hour. Now, mind you, 10 seconds per sticker is not at all a reasonable time set for the sticker's quality. So let's bump it up a bit to 1 minute for a sticker. A single measly minute. Suddenly became 289 minutes, which is 5 fucking hours. Now, let me be clear. 1 minute per sticker is still almost nothing, and some of them look like they genuinely could have taken the whole minute easily, even if there were not mistakes in the making or no redesign, and the sticker just like that into the canvas. That, plus the trading itself, the sticker inventory, the description for every sticker. Oh, and don't even mention, he had to manually add a way to obtain each and every single one of those 289 stickers. So does that still seem so lazy? No, not so much, does it? Mind you, this update came out in 2024, 2 years ago. Onett got criticized heavily in this update from separating it from Bismas. And this Bismas was the best he probably ever did, because he released it in one sitting, because he actually had the time to make it. Now, let's rewind even further. Oh, no, wait, not that much further. 2022 to 2023, Bravo Bear Challenge. Look, it had been in development for a long time now. It was probably more fleshed out than we ever thought when it released. But it was still a huge thing. It's probably the one piece of content on Biswarm, the one challenge I can personally spend some time in. I personally hate almost every Biswarm challenge. I find them boring, grindy, and they give basically no rewards. You can disagree with me on that one, but Rover, the drives, Turpentine, quest system, it was such a breath of fresh air for Biswarm. And it still got criticized for being delayed, for Bismas being delayed. But let's not linger on this one too much. No. 2021 was probably one of the biggest Biswarm updates ever. It brought the 3 endgame collectors, planters, buff rooms, the 3 most meta-changing bees. It was one update when I first started to grind out the game. Now, we can probably agree it was one of the best updates, right? Wrong. Onett got flamed once again. You can literally scroll on some of Banana's old 2021 videos and you'll see disappointed comments because of Onett not updating. Well, let's dig a bit further, I guess. Wrong again. Now, here's a full video on whether the game was updating or not. So, what are the comments? Onett equals scammer, 4 years ago. I hope the game updates by the time my dad comes home from buying milk, which, okay, it's honestly kinda funny. But literally fucking ill saying only 3 and 4 are right and are kinda understandable. So, what are those, you may ask? Onett doesn't like the game anymore. He doesn't have or want help. But wait, this video is from before the update. There is no new mythic, no endgame collectors. So what changed now? Nothing changed. The community has literally called Onett lazy, stupid, bad at its job for genuinely as much time as I've played. And That is not an understatement somehow. Now, 6 years of insults. How has the dude taken them? He's taken blow after blow, every accusation in the book of being a lazy developer, and what has he done about it? He just lived on and kept updating. 2026. This year was pretty much the one to spark out a new wave of hate. The update was underwhelming? Sure. But let's bring back up something I've saved for this very moment. The offline butcher. The one standout feature of this update. The one feature that literally made macros basically optional for anything but stingers. Blue farming, but we don't talk about that. Sure, you can crop it out as a way to adapt to Roblox's new premium payout system. For those who don't know, Roblox changed premium development payouts to pay based on how many times you booted the game first time in the morning. Before, it was based on playtime. Any premium user could sink hours into the game and Onett would get a huge payout. So it makes sense he adapted to change in the same step, right? But then, why make it an endgame item? If he just wanted to optimize the money, he didn't have to cater to the endgame already grinding 24/7 on their macro computers. He could just have made it an early game item or even a base feature, but no. So then it's not for the money. The lack of communication argument. Another big argument I've seen thrown around big time has been he doesn't communicate with the fanbase. But how real is this? He's teased multiple upcoming features in the past, he has a test realm which straight up involves the community in the final steps of the update. Honestly, how many games in Roblox do that one? Because I've seen little to none. And sure, he didn't tell us he wouldn't do a BBM this year, and that he was sending it on the last day, but he still told us BBM is coming eventually, and he was giving an extra week just to let people finish up the last quest. Well, was this a bad move? Yeah, obviously. I'm not gonna defend this one. Why would I? He did it wrong, but that's about it. But wait a minute, he did tell us something. Something I've seen missed again and again in every critic, that just call him Onett an idiot for the 600th time. He is working on another game. So, no communication, telling us, hey, I'm putting most of this business on hold because I'm working on another project, is not considered communicating now? Does he have to wave his flag and shout it to the air for everyone to hear while he runs around naked? Mind you, this is the same dude every fucking person in this community tracks the activity of on its main account. The dude could be scratching his butt on his own house and someone has a Discord server to notify 30k people that he scratched his butt. But when he directly says something to us, we are just ignoring it. So, why doesn't he hire more devs? Honestly, if I were him, I would barely trust a single person in the BBS community to help him. The one dude that he hired leaked half the update because he was mad. And most of the people that play the game are probably not much better than him. So he's basically risking half the game getting leaked if he ever decides to hire someone. But that's not the real reason. Onett has stated multiple times, in fact, that Beast Farm Simulator is a personal project and he doesn't want to change the vision he has for it. But half of the community just makes this as him being lazy. Now imagine this. You've started doing pottery, molding your clay, turning it into an impressive voice. And then, suddenly, they tell you, stop, we are giving your base to Timmy Trenchfoot Hands over there. And he straight up smashes your base, sticks a circle on the side big enough for a hand, and straight up starts drinking from it like a mug. Would you feel sad your job has been ruined? Would you feel sad your work got stripped out your hands for someone to do whatever they wanted to it? You would? Huh. So then, what's the difference? Now, one last thing before I drop the mic. The hackers. Look, I'm not gonna dive into this topic because it could be a 10-minute video on itself. But people have criticized Onett for letting hackers just ruin the economy. Now, let's divide this into a few parts, shall we? First off, yes, Onett could have banned them sooner, but do we really know how much work behind the scenes it took for it to just work? Banning hackers has never been an easy task. If you could just detect hacker fly equals true, then there will just never be a single hacker, ever. So what? He got scotch out free because he tried? Pff, no, don't be ridiculous. But I do think we're steering this boat in the wrong direction. Roblox. Now, believe whatever you want about this, but I think Roblox is in fact a bigger problem why hackers have had this much room to just spread. Now, let me remind you, some of these guys had generally upwards of 100 Roblox instances open, farming star eggs at the same time. What game just lets someone straight up do that for that long? In fact, many of the exploits probably run on a lower level than Roblox Studio itself could detect without big changes from the platform, and not Onett himself. He still created his own anti-cheat to ban those off, and he still got criticized for it. Huh. I think I'm starting to see a pattern for me. And secondly, trade servers. People just straight up believe them. We literally know one of them manipulated the prices to tilt everything in their favor. So let me ask you one thing. What leads you to believe they both are not doing it now? This is too big of a topic to cover in this video, but I could genuinely rant about this for a whole hour too. So then, big evil Onett is not the one responsible for the hackers hacking? Well, yeah, any big game is a target, and you can always strike gold when there is a literally economy surrounding the game. So, let's do a final recap. I had to remake this segment because when digging through hundreds of Onett's messages, I've learned a thing or two. The guy genuinely has been communicating for 6 years that he's tired of people insulting him, that he wants to move towards other projects, and that he's genuinely burned out. And we haven't changed a single bit since then. People will always throw arguments that Onett's lazy without really knowing what's behind all of this. Onett has had to remake a significant portion of Bsworm's code because he needs to do that to add future updates. So when he takes a long time, he's probably been working most of the year to make the update, even if you don't want to believe that. But these kind of things takes time. There's no way around it. Plus, people always hate when new features come out. Maybe it's because of the quests. Push rooms were really hated, even by me, when they first come out. Why? Because it was genuinely annoying. But now we've grown used to them, right? So what now? Well, I want to ask the Beast Farm community for a single thing, but also Onett too. Now, I know most people will literally have clicked off the video when they saw I disagree with them, but how can we fix that? I believe it's a joint effort. First of all, for Onett, my dude, if you're watching this video, I have a single request to make of you. Add a single mission for the game, a Summer mission, or just mix it into whatever you have planned for BBM. And make the title of it, Bees Will Keep Buzzing. That's it. And for everyone else, do the same. Every toxic comment, every time someone calls Onett lazy for having a family, every time people say Onett wanting to rest from its own work, it's no excuse for him not to make the number game have more numbers. Comment under them, bees will keep buzzing, even in this very video. And hopefully, once this community is once again a place where people enjoy the game, Onett might finally be able to release the big next update. The one update everyone will actually see for what it is. A love letter from Onett to us, the players that have hated him so much for it. Oh, and I also want to tell something to the people that think he doesn't work because he doesn't open Roblox Studio. Well, you can export and import games, and heck, if I was him, you wouldn't catch me dead in my main account for more than 10 straight minutes where I have to copy and paste that code inside the main game.